Of Training with Tink, breaking week 1 of Train with Tink, starting a pony. Today, what I'm going to do is take you through what I've done during the first week of training, which is go back over the fundamentals method of down under horsemanship. I want to go back through all the fundamentals that she has already kind of learned as a weanling, and we've been working on them all week. And then hopefully by the end of the session, we'll saddle her up for the first time. Okay, hope you enjoy. So I've got 2 more exercises I'm going to do with her, which is circle driving, stage 1 and stage 2, and also like head shy exercises. I'm going to do that, as well as round pinning. I haven't actually done any round pinning, but since I plan to put a saddle on her today, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to saddle her up, and then I'm going to round pin her with that, and then I'll do those 2 other exercises as well after I've round pinned her. Now, if I've done my homework really good, she's probably gonna buck a little bit because this will be her first time wearing a saddle, but she might not buck actually, because sometimes when you do your homework really well, sometimes they're just listening and then they will just not, for example, she's not 100% on me today. It's a little windy, it looks like a storm's coming, so I would almost guarantee you I think she's gonna buck, but no big deal when they buck their first time. Not a big deal. If she continues to buck a bunch with different types every time I round pin, stuff like that, usually that'll take care of itself. But if she continued to buck, I would just really make her hustle and work her feet. So now after this session, scratch that. Okay, so let's see if we can get her saddled up. Now let's move her off and see how she does. For today, so we're doing that 5 times a week. So now we have a saddle on her, and so now next week what I'll be doing is doing all those same groundwork exercises, just this time wearing a saddle. I'll also start desensitizing to weight in the saddle. No, I will not be riding her, but I'll be doing somewhat of the Jeffries method, a little bit more in depth, like me leaning over and stuff like that. Also attaching some boat buoys to her to simulate people riding. I'm also going to do a 50-pound bag of feed on her as well. And if you're worried about her size, ponies can easily carry up to about 100 pounds. So no worries there. Again, I will not be riding her. But a 50-pound bag of feed will be totally fine. And then my 5-year-old will plan on riding her, and she's about 50 pounds. I also do plan to maybe bring in a kid that does ride bucking horses in to ride her. I don't know if I'll be able to film that, just her first time riding. But we're a long way from that, at least at this point. So yes, that was week 1. So, and again, it may take longer for your horse to break. I would assume so, especially if you've never had them before. Again, I did all of these exercises with her as a weanling, and so now this is just, and I've just had her as a weanling, went over it. Also at a yearling, I reviewed those exercises. Sorry, she's pushing on me. That is what you have to watch out for when you breed your own babies, is that they sometimes get pushy because they're not scared of you, but they can also kind of get pushy and disrespect your space. So like right now she's kind of encroaching on me as well. Like, so I don't want that. I don't want a pushy horse or something like that, but I'd be glad to rub her, but I rub her, she doesn't rub me. And like she's getting a little antsy. But I also don't want to just wear her out, because that's not the way to go. And again, it's kind of like stormy weather, so no wonder she's acting like this a little bit. She didn't do this at all yesterday. That is again like her first session with a saddle, so I've been working with her 5 days. But I did this again as a weanling, did it as a yearling, and then she's just been turned out the rest of the time. Been turned out in a pasture with a mare and a gelding, so she's used to both. And right now she's actually in the pasture with her mom. So you don't necessarily have to keep them away from each other once they've been totally weaned and stuff. So yeah, so we're planning on doing practice. I do wanting to work on like line driving and stuff like that. So yeah, so next week I'd like to plan on also adding in some line driving. Now with her, I will not be going as in depth into the horse down under horsemanship method as I would in horse, just because I don't plan on competing her. My kids will probably do like lead line, maybe the walk only class, maybe a walk trot class, but I really actually don't ever want her to canter with my kids. And I don't know if I do end up selling her to go to another family, I don't know if they would want a cantering pony. So that's where it's like, what do you do here? I'm trying to make her just a very safe, predictable walk, trot, little pony that you could actually ride, not just lead, and we'll see how well that goes, but I think she could even be fine right now to lead around. So to finish her off for the day, because I don't want to just end exactly like that, is I am just going to practice like a lead line. I'm just going to hold her here and just lead her around the corner of the rounded mantle, the round pin, and I'll also do that a bunch like out on the trail. I will just lead her by hand. I will also pony her, which again I've already done that. I've already ponied her off other horses and stuff. That's also great options for young horses to get them exposure to things and keep it safe for you at the same time. So if you have an older horse that you can pony a young horse off of, or a young pony, then that would be ideal. So again, make sure you hit the bell icons, that way you can get notified whenever I post my next video. And so join us next week to see what Train with Tink will be doing that week. So thank you so much for watching. God bless, be adventurous, and I'll see you next time. Bye!